Gada Srivasasti Gauravastave Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Pada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Turn on the video.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Hare
Thanks.
Krishna.
Yeah, I was just requesting for you to turn on your video. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Text 20. Katham tasmin duravagrahya dhamani pashyatam sarvalokanam layam iyatur anjasa. Katham tasmin bhagavati duravagrahya dhamani pashyatam sarvalokanam layam iyatur anjasa. Katham tasmin bhagavati duravagrahya dhamani pashyatam sarvalokanam layam iyatur anjasa. Katham tasmin bhagavati duravagrahya dhamani pashyatam sarvalokanam layam iyatur anjasa. Word-to-word translation. Katham, how? Tasmin, that. Bhagavati, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Duravagrahya, difficult to attain. Dhamani, whose nature. Pashyatam, looked on. Sarvalokanam, while all the people. Layam iyatu, became absorbed. Anjasa, easily. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. How was it possible for Shishupal and Dantavakra, in the presence of many exalted persons, to enter very easily into the body of Krishna, whose nature is difficult to attain? Purport. Shishupal and Dantavakra were formerly Jai and Vijay, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. Merging into the body of Krishna was not their final destination. For some time they remained merged, and later they received the liberations of Sarupya and Salokya, living on the same planet as the Lord in the same bodily form. The Shastras give evidence that if one blasphemes the Supreme Lord, his punishment is to remain in hellish life for many millions of years, more than one suffers by killing many Brahmanas. Shishupal, however, instead of entering hellish life, immediately and very easily received Sayujya Mukti. That such a privilege had been offered to Shishupal was not merely a story. Everyone saw it happen. There was no scarcity of evidence. How did it happen? Maharaj Yudhishthir was very much surprised. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To read the translation again. How was it possible for Shishupal and Dantavakra, in the presence of many exalted persons, to enter very easily into the body of Krishna, whose nature is difficult to attain? So this is the verses in continuation of Yudhishthira Maharaj's questions to Narada Muni, where he's asking, how did it so happen that Shishupal was constantly offending the Lord, entered into the body of the Lord, and everyone saw it. So the pastime of Rajasuya Yagya, where everyone was assembled, and there was a person required who would be sitting as the chief of the entire yagya and who would be receiving all the respects, all the offerings. And there was a dilemma who would be the chief, and there was many different people suggesting different things, but then Sahadev finally spoke up to say that it has to be Krishna because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all the great demigods also worship him. So therefore, he is the topmost person, he should be worshipped. And everyone agreed, all the sages, all the demigods, everyone agreed that yes, Krishna is the topmost person and he deserves all the respect and all the worship as the chief person for the Rajasuya Yagya. And there were some people who didn't agree. Shishupal was the chief among them, and he was seething with envy and anger, and he just couldn't stand Krishna getting all the respect and getting all the worship. And so he was just biting his teeth and just waiting. You know, he couldn't wait, but he was somehow waiting, and he was tolerating that. How can Krishna get all the respect? So he was getting more and more and more angry until at one point where he just couldn't hold it anymore. And so he stood up and started in a very angry voice. He lost sense of his mind, actually. He lost sense of who was around, and he started just blaspheming Krishna. And he started speaking all kinds of ill words towards Krishna. Then who is this Krishna? We don't know what's his background. We don't know what's his varna. We don't know what activities is he engaged in. How can he be the chief person? So there are great personalities here who deserve more worship than Krishna. So therefore, they should be elected. Why is Krishna being elected? And then he just starts blaspheming Krishna outright, and all the great Kshatriyas who couldn't tolerate, they pulled out their swords and they were ready to kill Shishupal. But Krishna was asking everyone to just wait, and Krishna was completely undisturbed. And at one point, when it became too much, then Krishna pulled out his Sudarshan Chakra and descended to kill Shishupal. And as soon as Shishupal's head was separated from the body, in front of everyone's eyes, soul Shishupal came out of his body and entered into the body of Krishna. Later on, in his fight to Dantavakra, after the whole episode of Hastinapur and Krishna visiting Hastinapur, when he finally took the leave, because he realized that some of the enemies of Shishupal or some of the friends of Shishupal, allies, might be ready to attack Dwarka. So he should go. And so he actually did go with Balaram. And sure enough, Shalva was there attacking the Dwarka Puri. And as soon as he saw Krishna, he attacked immediately. And anyway, in due course, he was defeated along with his airplane. And then Dantavakra came next, and he started blaspheming Krishna, and he was saying that you killed Shishupal when he was just a little absent-minded, and you took advantage of it to kill him. And so therefore you are a coward, and now I'm going to send you to the death. I'm going to kill you right now. And Krishna immediately killed him through his Sudarshan Chakra. And again, the soul from the Dantavakra's body emerged and entered into the body of Krishna. Again, everyone saw that. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking this question before Dantavakra is killed. But he's asking here, how is it that Shishupal and Dantavakra both entered into the body of Krishna? Even though Yudhishthira Maharaj had not seen it, the Acharyas explained that he knew that this is going to happen. And so therefore he's asking for both of them. So here Prabhupada explains, and this is why Yudhishthira Maharaj is so amazed and so bewildered, that how is it possible? He said, because many yogis, they meditate on the super soul for hundreds and thousands of years, for tens of thousands of years, and they're meditating on the super soul to try to merge into the absolute. There are many jnanis who are aspiring for the impersonal liberation in entering into the Brahma Jyoti. After so much of research, after so much of studies, after so much of austerities, they're still not sure, because after so many thousands of years of meditations, many of them fall down, and many of them actually can't attain the ultimate goal. So how is it that Shishupal, who just offended Krishna, he's entering into the body of Krishna, who's entering into this Brahman effulgence, or the supreme, or the Sayujya Mukti? How is it possible for him to get it? How is it possible for Dantavakra to get it so easily? Yudhishthira Maharaj is explaining here. Very easily they entered into the body of Krishna with just making a few offenses. So how is it possible? And and so of course Prabhupada explains here in the purport, quoting the acharyas, how for some time the merged remained merged, and later they received the liberation of Sarupya and Salokya. Sarupya means the same rupa, same form as the Lord. Salokya, same loka, same planet as the Lord. So eventually they received the Sarupya and Salokya Mukti to enter into the same abode and have the same form as the Lord. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is very curious. How is it possible this can happen to Narad Muni? And in the coming verses, how Narad Muni will explain two reasons. One he would explain is that because they were so wrapped in meditation upon Krishna, they were thinking about Krishna all the time. Narad Muni will give some examples, some nice verses, very nice verses. He will mention. One of the verses is Kamat, Dveshat, Bhayat, Sneha. He said, Lord can be remembered many different ways. Through Kamat, through lust, through Dvesha, through envy, through Bhayat, through fear, Sneha, through love. So there are many different people, or many different personalities who have meditated upon Krishna in different ways. But Narad Muni is saying, but somehow or other, one has to remember Krishna, one has to meditate on Krishna. And then he gives the example of who are these people who meditated on Krishna in the 31st verse, where he says, Gopya Kama Bhayat Kamso. Say Kama, say Gopya Kama. He says the gopis, they desired Krishna through lusty desires. Bhayat Kamso. Through fear, who remembered Krishna? Kamsa. He's always thinking of Krishna. And he was always afraid of Krishna right from the beginning when he heard the prophecy from the sky that you fool, Kamsa, so you're riding the chariot of your sister, and she's going to bear a child who is going to kill you. And Kamsa, just like many other demons who wanted to live forever, they became greatly afraid that there's someone who's going to born who's going to kill me. And so therefore, before he kills me, I must kill him. Even though he's going to kill me, even though that's the prophecy, I must kill him before he kills me. And so he's always thinking about how to kill Krishna right from the womb in Devaki's womb. Comes as thinking as soon as the child appears in the womb of Devaki, I'll kill him. And he kills so many children. And Krishna, of course, there's a whole pastime of how Krishna goes to Vrindavan as soon as he appears into this world. Kamsa is going mad and he's just constantly thinking. It is said that Kamsa was thinking about Krishna so much that the devotees explained that he could not eat peacefully, he could not sleep peacefully. He could not do any activities peacefully. He was just always thinking about Krishna and how to kill Krishna. Although Krishna cannot be killed, although it's a prophecy that Krishna will kill me, I must kill him before he kills me. And that's his meditation all the time. Even in the, sometimes he would be eating feast cooked by his greatest chefs in his palace, and he'll be eating this amazing feast. But sometimes he'll just throw the feast away. Why is Krishna still alive? Why am I not able to kill him? I must kill him. And so he keeps sending all these demons to Krishna to somehow they kill him. It's just so much wrapped in meditation and thinking about Krishna. In the night, he could not sleep. Sometimes sleeping in the night, he would just wake up. Did Krishna come? Did I hear a sound? Is Krishna coming to kill me? Oh, well, before he comes, I must kill him. So he's always thinking like that, always meditating on Krishna, so deeply meditating on Krishna. Similarly, Narad Muni explains further in that verse, Dvesha Chaidadayo Nripa. It says Shishupal and the other kings remembered Krishna through envy. They envied Krishna so much that right from the beginning, from the time they started speaking, they were offending Krishna. They were so extremely envious of Krishna. And Shishupal was particularly known to be extremely envious of Krishna, who just could not stand him. And to make situation even worse, Shishupal, who was scheduled to marry Rukmini, and Krishna just came, as the Shukadeva Goswami explains, Krishna came just like a lion and took the prey away, which was Shishupal. Shishupal was just ready to get married, and Krishna just came in and took Rukmini away from him. And Shishupal was seething in anger. How can he do that? He said, this was mine. And he just couldn't tolerate it. And obviously him, along with many other kings, tried to attack Krishna. And Krishna just easily defeated them. And he actually decided that when Krishna stole Rukmini, Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, it is said that Krishna was not even running away from Shishupal and the team. Krishna just very peacefully and calmly just rode the chariot and slowly just drove away. Absolutely no rush and no fear. And whoever challenged Krishna, Krishna immediately defeated them. Shishupal just couldn't tolerate. How can he do that? So in that way, he was always very, very envious of Krishna. So these are the personalities who were so much wrapped in meditation of Krishna, although the meditation was not exactly positive. but they were nevertheless meditating on Krishna all the time. And so Narada Muni is explaining here. Therefore, they all got liberated. Kamsa got liberated. Shishupal got liberated. Dantavakra got liberated. All these people in the Kurukshetra who saw Krishna, they all got liberated. So it's amazing. And so here it is explained how, here in particular, Narada Muni is explaining how the goal of life is to somehow or other meditate on Krishna, somehow or other think about Krishna. And Muni will explain how these demons and their meditation was so strong. Narada Muni, out of humility, he says that they're actually meditating on Krishna even with more depth than me. I'm supposed to be the pure devotee. But these demons are meditating and they're constantly wrapped in thinking about Krishna, even more than me. Even I'm not thinking of Krishna so much. So therefore, so that's one reason that Narad Muni gives why Shishupal and Dantavakra attain this great benediction of attaining liberation. And so therefore, Narad Muni says, Tasmat kenapi upayena. Therefore, somehow or other, one should focus his mind on Krishna. And then another reason, the more popular reason that we all know, that Narad Muni gives is that Shishupal and Dantavakra were Jaya and Vijay previously, and they are the associates of the Lord, and that they descended to material world for 3 lifetimes, and they were going to become the enemies of the Lord, to give Krishna a good fight. But their original position is in spiritual world, and so they have gone back. So for these 2 reasons is why they received this liberation in one sense very easily. So it's it's a very simple process. It's a very simple process. The process is to somehow or other one have to think about Krishna. One has to focus, as Narad Muni says, one should focus his mind on Krishna somehow or other. So our mind is so distracted and focusing on so many other things. But if we can somehow or other bring our mind to thinking about Krishna all the time, then we can attain the same destination in the sense of we can attain Krishna as well. Narad Muni will, of course, say that these were the demons and they were thinking about Krishna to kill him. So if they are meditating on Krishna with the desire to kill him and they're still attaining such an high platform, then what about the devotees who are thinking about Krishna all the time to serve him, to please him? So what a great result such devotees will get. So therefore one has to somehow or other practice focusing on Krishna all the time. But our minds are so distracted, so disturbed with the ichha and dvesha. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, because of the desire and the hate in this world, we're thinking about so many subject matters except Krishna. So we can very clearly see where our absorption is when we start chanting our rounds. As soon as we pick up our beats and we start chanting, we can observe where our mind is going, and we can see these are our attachments, which are taking us away from Krishna. So, therefore, chanchalam himana Krishna. So, therefore, this mind, which is very chanchal, very disturbed, very distracted, one has to practice to bring it back. One has to constantly keep bringing it back to Krishna and to service to Krishna. And somehow or other, one has to practice this art. It's an art, and we all can learn, we all can develop that, and it requires practice. So therefore, every time mind gets distracted, we practice to bring it back, just like what we try and do in chanting. Every time mind wanders away, we try and bring it back to the holy name. So the process is simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it's very simple. Every time the mind wanders away from Krishna, we bring it back. And an easier way to do that is by following the instruction of the spiritual master. So our mind may be wanting to do so many different things, or might not be wanting to do so many different things that are required to do in devotional life. But a devotee focuses on the instructions of the spiritual master and dedicates his time and energies into fulfilling his instructions somehow or other. And in that way, one tries to develop the focus on Krishna. So, in that way, the process of remembering Krishna all the time and never forgetting Krishna, which is the essence of all the teachings, is that one should always remember Krishna and one should never forget Krishna. That can be achieved through the simple process of following the instructions of the spiritual master. That's what Prabhupada taught, and Prabhupada personally exemplified in his life. Prabhupada's spiritual master instructed him to teach this message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to the English-speaking countries. And so Prabhupada was very clear about this instruction and following that instruction. And so he did everything he can to write books, to distribute books, to encourage devotees to publish them, to distribute them, and to translate them. So in that way, his spiritual master, who wanted this Krishna consciousness to go out of India, Prabhupada did everything he can to follow that instruction. And because he followed that instructions with all his heart, then his spiritual master, Parampara, Krishna himself, gave all the blessings. So we might wonder, how can I remember Krishna all the time? It's so difficult. It's hard these days to think about any one thing for more than 2 minutes. So how can I remember Krishna all the time? Well, it can be difficult, but we can try and remember the instructions of the spiritual master, and in that way make the process very, very easy. Another very important thing is to engage in services or service which force us to depend on Krishna. That's very important, because if we are very comfortably situated in our devotional life and doing services which are very easy to do, then we are not forced to depend on Krishna. But when we do services which we know are beyond our capacity, we know that there's no way with our own strength, then we'll be forced to depend on Krishna. We'll be forced to think about Krishna. So book distribution is one such service. Sankirtan is one such service which is not only very pleasing to Krishna, but is very challenging, because for devotees to go out, or for devotees, the faces of those, one can be whoever one is in his life. When you try and approach these new people on the streets, they don't know and they don't care. They just want to walk away. And so to strike a conversation, to inspire them to get the books, to give a donation, is challenging and it's not easy. And so therefore, as devotees, we we are constantly praying to Krishna, please help us, please give us the intelligence, give us so we can say the right words at the right time. Please give us pure, the compassion. Please send us the right people that we can preach to who are ready to take up Krishna consciousness. So we're constantly praying. In that way, we're constantly thinking about Krishna. If we're chopping vegetables, comparatively, it's little less challenging. And we are not so much forced to depend on Krishna. And so, therefore, at least some part of our Krishna consciousness schedules, we should try and include such services which will force us to depend on Krishna. And in that way, we can make it a little bit easy for us to remember Krishna in our day-to-day activities. So with that, I'll finish. Thank you very much. If there is any quick questions or comments or corrections.
Thank you, Prabhu. I had two questions today. One was about the gopis and the other was about the demons. Forgive me, I haven't begun reading the Bhagavatam yet, but my first question was related to the residents in Vrindavan. I assumed, or my understanding, it was the residents in Vrindavan are participating in the Leelas with Krishna in the spiritual world, but you made a comment that the gopis desire Krishna through lust or based on lust, and I was just wondering if you could expand on what you mean by lust here.
Sure. So this word lust of the gopis is explained by the devotees as the desire to associate with Krishna, even though externally speaking, the relationship is of a paramours, and gopis desire to want to enjoy Krishna's association, and they're attracted through this loving propensity, but sometimes it's used as the word lust because they want to enjoy Krishna's form, Krishna's beauty.
Lust on the spiritual platform or on a more...
Lust on the spiritual platform, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the highest in the spiritual world, it becomes the lowest in the material world.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Then I may be able to answer this, but I thought I'd ask anyways. How you spoke of the demons think more about Krishna than pure devotees. The word I got hung up on was more. Is that more of the quality of the attraction?
So that was Narada Muni speaking out of his humility, where he was saying that the demons are meditating and thinking about Krishna even than he himself. Well, actually, that's not true because pure devotees are also always thinking about him. But here he's pointing out a very particular emotion, which is when the demons are thinking about Krishna, they're thinking about him so intensely. They're thinking about him all the time, but with a lot of intensity that just think, where is Krishna? Which I want to kill him. So that intensity and that consistency in remembering Krishna is so strong, is so great that sometimes practicing sadhakas, we're practicing devotees, don't have that intensity. Of course, the pure devotees have that intensity with the desire to want to please Krishna and serve Krishna. But sometimes, and in this case, Narada Muni is speaking out of humility, appreciating thinking. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Grantraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Even now, sir, even 24 right?
Yes. 24 hours Krishna. 24 hours Krishna conscious.
Faith will be serving the fish. There's difference
Yeah.
between the demon
And
who also when it comes as a thing, right? It was 20 hours to time.
yes.
Every moment he was thinking,
Yeah.
but unfavorably.
Yes. Thinking about Krishna favorably all the time.
Then one thing new I learned recently was that role of devotion. Serve Krishna perpetually wherever it is.
Okay. Dhruva Maharaj is saying here that goal of devotees is not to go back to Golok Vrindavan, but to serve Krishna all the time. Always. Yeah. Doing service, whatever Dhruva Maharaj Prabhu says, you do it. It's pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.